What's up, party people? Welcome back to an exciting week of SJU. It's Monday. I'm awake. That's something. I'm, I'm here with Eric and Danielle. We're going to get into some fun stuff today. We have the final trailers, the final pleas from these two movies, Morbius and Fantastic Beasts 3, to say, please leave your house. Come see us, won't you? And I'll give you our final verdicts on whether that will be the case or not. We're also going to talk about Uncharted. That's a thing, apparently. Wow, people are really going to see this movie. Is Tom Holland a huge movie star, or is this a Spider-Man hangover? What's going on? Tarantino is returning to television. We'll tell you about that. And finally, I'm very excited about this. You may have missed Eric last week. All we said is that he was out, but he is back from a top secret mission. He's joined the rebellion or some type of weird LARPing hotel. I don't know. He's going to tell us more about it. It's Star Wars Starcruiser Hotel. Is that what it's called?
Galactic Starcruiser.
Sweet.
I have so many opinions, but I will
save it for the last segment. Let's just get through this stuff so we can get to Eric's vacation photos. We begin with the as they say, although I don't believe them, the final trailer for Morbius, which says it's coming out on Michael Morbius. Again, I don't believe them. This could be an enormous prank. That said, we did get one last look at Jared Leto as Dracula. He is
putting the cool back in Dracula.
Yeah, putting the cool back in Dracula. I've seen so many of these that it was hard for me to guess what was new about this. I feel like it's the same, he's taking out the operators on the ship. He's looking for the cure, but the cure is the disease. Cue the 9 Inch Nails. I did notice that they now say that this is boom from the studio of No Way Home. It's like, okay,
I would.
Sure.
I get it.
Sure it is.
I would.
And now at the end, they have like a little joke about the Lost Boys, about how this is just like the Lost Boys, which I do appreciate. And if this movie does have, there it is, and Venom, yeah, throw all the hits in there. If this movie does have Tina Turner and a buff guy in a ponytail playing the saxophone, boom, I'm right back in the theater.
Sax guy is one of my favorite tropes from like 80s movies.
Yeah, if sax guy,
sexy sax guy,
the best.
I think we had a little more Keaton, a little more Michael Keaton giving a villainous pep talk. But you tell me, did this move the needle for you? Is this final trailer going to push you into theaters to see Morbius on April 1st? Eric, you start. Or Danielle, you look like you had something to say. You're both hesitating.
I was going to say the new stuff that stood out to me was Matt Smith spoke because he was in like a single shot in the tree shot. So he does speak. Seems like he's some sort of villainous vampire.
Evil doctor. A big stretch for him.
And then, Keaton, because we'd heard the rumors a few weeks ago that they'd done some new footage specifically of Keaton, and that looked like it here. I think his cameo went from like that walking by moment we saw in the first trailer to like, let's have him sit and totally give him some life advice. Because he's like, embrace your whatever, become what you're. I'm like, I don't think Adrian Toomes would have said this, but here it is.
Was that him or was that Matt Smith? Because I couldn't tell. Because like when it happened
in prison.
Well, because when
the
they
line I'm talking about,
more than one person tells him to like become be the bad guy.
They might both. No, because Matt Smith says like that we're better than everyone, and then Keaton's like, you're better than you were. So it's the same thing kind of. Mm-hmm. It's variations, but I don't know. It's like this trailer. It is funny. Like I mentioned this. Can't remember if we did it during our Batman review or right before when Kim and I were recording this morning. How we're almost Top Gun. I think is the last of like the movies we've been trailers for like 3 years, like over. Mm-hmm. And Morbius is a big one. So it's like, how much more can we see of this movie? There's a little. The fact that there's more Keaton was my main takeaway. That you just feel like they turned his like 30-second cameo into a 2-minute or 3-minute cameo.
Yeah, and so I guess like long story short though, this just remains to me at least like Venom without the fun, and also just the same way that Venom was handicapped by a PG-13 rating. Like a vampire movie with a bloodless vampire movie just has kind of a cap on how fun the action can be, and I didn't see anything to change my mind. It seems like a rental for me. What about you, Danielle?
Well, first of all, Eric's going to see it either way because he's going to wind up covering it. We all know that. So Eric's going to see it either way.
I see all the Marvel stuff, even if I know it's not going to be good.
Well, because I'm not, no one begrudge you of that. That is your job and your place. Morbius does look creepy. I do not like the look of him, but that is on purpose.
Yep.
But personally, I don't like it. It is creepy and scary, and good for them. They achieved that. More Michael Keaton, never a bad thing for this gal. Always great. I think that is very smart, even though this is going to be one of those trailers where everyone's like, it's going to be like Dune, where everyone's like, I thought I was getting a lot of Zendaya, and then I didn't get a lot of Zendaya. And I think that that's going to wind up being what this is.
Keaton baited.
They're Keating baiting. Yeah. And I totally 100% understand why they're like, hey, from the people that made this other stuff. And so here's the thing where we're going to remind you that they made this other stuff.
From the studio.
The studio.
Like,
which is always
even
the
say producers or anything.
From the financial corporation
that cut the check for these other movies. Yeah.
Right.
And granted, there's like 2 studios left, so I get it. But yeah, I am lukewarm on this. I have been lukewarm on this. I want movies to be good. I would love to be proven wrong. But there is nothing in this for me that screams, I got to be there first day. And I was already that way before I got the ick. And now that I've had the ick, I'm like super that way because the ick sucked.
Are you talking about COVID or Jared Leto? Just to clarify, I also get the ick when I see him sometimes.
But yeah, it does. I mean, I feel like it represents the tone that they're trying to get. And it is very like, ooh, wah, ah. So if that's like what you're into, great. But I am so burnt out on vampires, and I know they're trying to do something new. Dude is suddenly in a bat cave or whatever, and I've seen that too. So this will be I will see it, but I'm not rushing in the first weekend.
Just gonna rewatch the Underworld movies. That makes me want to do that, or Blade even. Yeah.
But here's the thing. This movie would be 100% improved for me if someone was like, MFers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Yeah. Was that Tyrese at the very end?
Yeah,
he's the one of the detectives.
He's the detective. Yeah.
Could use a little more Tyrese. I hate to say
he's got that like interesting scar on his neck. I want to hear more about that.
Oh, he had a vampire encounter. I think it's funny that the last trailer was set to a new cover of People Are Strange, which I noted is a song people associate with the Lost Boys. And then this trailer just blatantly has him mention the Lost Boys. So they want to remind you of a cool vampire movie you really liked while you're watching.
I mean, if they can do the Lost Boys like coming out of portals at the end of Endgame, but the Corey's alive. Can we get
one of them
in a portal?
Yeah. One of them, I mean, he's currently, or not currently, but the last time I checked in with him like 15, 20 years ago, he was having like weird stripper parties at his house. There's an article.
It's like they were like fake.
It's hilarious.
Openings. Yeah, it was like for a reality show or something.
It was like Corey's Angels or something. Yeah. So funny.
So yeah, the on your left moment with the Lost Boys and Kiefer Sutherland and stuff. All right, I'm in. I'm talking myself back in.
Didn't MC Hammer once like poop shame him? Anyway, that's something you can look up.
Oh, she's talking about the surreal life.
I certainly am.
I knew exactly what you were talking about. Don't get me started on the surreal life.
Oh, the surreal life. Wow, that just unlocked a portal in my brain. Was that the one with Vern Troyer?
All right, he was on the second or third season.
That wasn't the season. Yeah, I think that might have been like the first.
Emmanuel Lewis was on the first season with Hammer and Corey Feldman. And,
wow.
They had some.
We're gonna have to do a video about returning to like I guess peak reality show in the early 2000s when they were all like Stanford prison experiments, but with different celebrities.
It was for no good reason.
Oddly, I was just thinking about this and how the Osbournes was like the ground zero for that.
Yeah.
And once the Osbournes was a hit, they're like, get a camera on everyone. Get a camera.
Get them in a rented mansion in the valley. We're doing this.
It's the same mansion every time. They just redecorate it. I think they own that mansion. And they Hammer poop shamed Corey Feldman. I believe.
Sentences you'll only hear on SJU. Let's move on to the next trailer because we've spilled enough virtual ink about Morbius. Let's talk about FB3, baby, Fantastic Beasts 3. More crimes of Dumbledore or whatever. Grindelwald. What's this one called?
The Secrets of
Dumbledore.
It begins with the line "Memory is everything," and man, they're flogging that nostalgia horse hard on this one. I thought this was actually a good trailer in that it really threw a lot at the screen, and it did make me want to go back and go frame by frame and see what I missed.
Did so too. Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of Phoenix. We got a lot of Fox in there. Eddie Redmayne. It was interesting what it didn't have, which was like it didn't have a lot of Eddie Redmayne. Went heavy on the Kowalski, which I like, but I do like Redmayne in this too. And obviously, I mean, you've got Mads Mikkelsen replacing Johnny Depp as Grindelwald, and I also like Mads Mikkelsen a lot. So they're sort of figuring out what works and what doesn't, I think, as far as what appealed about this franchise. A lot of beasts, a lot more beasts. We'll see if we got all the beasts in the trailer that we'll get in the movie. And they have to be sidelined because who cares about, a Snuffleupagus when it's, basically pre-Voldemort and Dumbledore fighting. They can't, how important can they be to this story? We've pivoted into a Harry Potter prequel, which is what it is. But what do you guys think? This moved the needle in a positive direction for me, but I can't say that I'm like, can't wait for Fantastic Beasts 3. What do you think?
Well, you're like a Potterhead, right?
I was. I'm a lapsed pothead.
Hard same. And maybe it's just because this came out the same week as they announced all of the new starter Pokemon, because that was always what I kind of wanted this series to be.
Those look good. That's going to get me back into Pokemon, by the way. That cool haired duck. That's I need that. in my life.
I'm sorry, Weed Cat. Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
But Jessica Williams, I love her. I love seeing her. It like make your money, baby. This trailer was the most convincing of the trailers, but again, I'm not going to go to a theater for it, but I'm definitely going to watch it. And there are some very cool, very interesting moments. I just guess, look, if it's not Dumbledore just full on snogging with a dude,
you want wand to wand on screen action.
1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1.
Yeah, it is still David Yates, and it has that color palette or lack thereof, where it is just it's the opposite of I think what drew people into the original Harry Potters, which is like they're dark, but they're also kind of sumptuous, and there's like a real lived-in quality where this is a lot of gray CGI particles flying into each other. But I do like that the action in this one, the wizard duels that we saw, do seem to be casting spells at each other or around the environment rather than just like laser guns, basically just like shooting little whippy things at each other.
And it is pretty, right?
Mm-hmm. It's pretty, that's why I thought this might be theater worthy, not because I'm so excited, but because I feel like this will not have the same impact at home. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I actually was pretty impressed by some of the visuals, just because it's been a while since they've like really popped. There's that really cool shot where it's like Dumbledore is holding down Credence, Ezra Miller, and it like hands through the ground, and there's like an alternate them or something's happening. That I was like, oh, that's trippy. I don't know what's happening there, and I'm intrigued. This was a good trailer as far as like, it's like it's funny because I've actually been rewatching the Potter movies. And the second Fantastic Beasts having so sort of torpedoed the excitement for that series. But now that we talked when the first trailer came out about how it's like this weird thing where they should have made the first Fantastic Beasts a one-off movie if they so desperately wanted to turn it into Dumbledore versus Grindelwald. But this trailer is like, if this was the launch of this series, it'd be like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we're getting, So it's like, this is trying to so greatly course correct. This trailer did a better job than the first of being like, okay, we're seeing some cool stuff here. We're seeing, some character showdowns.
I mean, they're giving us a lot, but it seemed like the issue with the second one was that they gave us too much, at least plot wise. Like it seemed like 5 different movies, and it was just set up, and they couldn't kind of pick a lane for what they wanted this to be. And it seems like they funneled it into like, okay, this is about the prequel to Harry Potter.
I hate to interrupt this flow. I literally thought that this was very Cohen. I didn't Cohen. I like didn't know that it was Ezra Miller because
You
I
didn't? Oh,
Eternals
yeah.
I can't tell the difference
They do look.
between those
There's a
dudes.
similarity. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, you'd be
I'm
forgiven because he
racist.
doesn't have a single line, I don't think, spoken in the trailer. Maybe there's some VO,
No,
but
I
he
don't
doesn't
think so.
say anything. I think he's
He glowers.
yeah, he's been silenced after he went after the KKK or something.
I don't know.
Yo, that was so funny.
It's funny because there's been a lot of talk about like where is Tina, the Catherine Watterson character, and like a lot of wild speculation is like, oh, is it because she spoke out against J.K. Rowling and they wrote her out? Although other actors did too. I think it might benefit them if they did what the Potter movies did, and it's like, hey, some characters can sit out some of these movies and then come back later.
Yep.
It's like you don't need to cram, because that second movie was such a bad example of like overstuffing and everything, trying to set up stuff for the future. It's like, yeah, let things breathe a little, even though it's really bizarre how we got here with this third movie and a plot line it seemed like they were really desperate to do, even if it didn't fit the Fantastic Beasts title. Now maybe they have at least figured out like, okay, this is what we're doing and we're focused on this.
So yes, I do think it's definitely an improvement, but just like the lane, if you gave me a sorting hat and told me where this thing should go, is clearly what works for me. Eddie Redmayne and his beast, plus Jacob Kowalski with a wand for the first time, 100%. And just like send him to on a magic safari together. Like I don't need this to be the end of the world or a prequel to World War II or whatever.
There are literally woods behind like Hogwarts that are full of the fantasticals of beasts.
If you need to go,
I wanted it to be Pokemon, and I have to let that go. I have to let that go. Like that was what we thought the movie was going to be. I think that was kind of what it was sold on, and then it definitely became like, oh, I guess we have to stop Hitler.
Yeah, I guess so.
Wizard Hitler.
On a long enough timeline, everything becomes Hitler. All right. Well, that's what we got. So we'll probably see it though. I think that this is this is sort of creeping back into my want to watch list. So good for you, trailer. You did it.
I guess we should caveat, will you see it pre having to write the honest trailer for it? Like, is that really the caveat to the question?
I do think like I said, I'm like getting ready to, go back to theaters, and I'll be seeing the Batman. So yeah, sure. If I don't die, I'll see the next one. Why not?
Warner Brothers, you just got a great endorsement.
Get that booster, it helps.
Yeah. And thank you for watching us from the safety of your own home. Please subscribe and like and hit the bell so you don't miss anyone again. Speaking of theaters, I know people ask us this a lot. Things are in motion to get us back into a studio, if that makes a difference to you. Apparently it does for some of you. So we're working towards there. Our office opening date has been pushed back. And then this is a new office. We haven't even set up the studio yet. So think months more than weeks, but we're working on it.
That timeline is so funny because I was working on the TV show that got canceled, and literally as I was supposed to come back and as we were moving in, it was like, oh no.
All of my stuff is still in boxes.
Oh yeah, there's
still
not unpacked.
There's stacks of boxes of
Yeah.
everyone's stuff, and I was like, mine's there somewhere, but I didn't want to move everything to try to find.
They label them because I had to go there and pick up a couple.
Yeah, but then I switched some stuff around. I might have messed up the organization. That's my fault. But I have seen the studio. It's a new one. That's what people need to understand, is that it's not. Yeah, we can't just turn the lights back on.
We literally were in the process of moving studios. Yeah. We were going to move into the new studio. 2 weeks?
Yep.
Yeah, that was when when it all went down. Oh well. So patience, please. Thank you for your continued patience. That is why we are still at home. Also, because it's great. Who wants to leave the house anymore? All right, let's move on to Uncharted, which is doing pretty good. I have not gone to see this because I didn't think it would be worth my time, but apparently it is. Maybe. Have either of you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can watch Bailey and I's review right here on this channel.
Well, there you go. So it earned.
That's my Eric.
Granted, there was nothing else out, but it did make another $23 million, 10% of that coming from IMAX, with only a 47% drop. But that's still holding on pretty well, especially compared to stuff like, I guess it's second only to Shang-Chi for big hits this year.
Yeah. In the past year, yeah.
In the pandemic era, I think is what they're kind of saying with that. Like, it held the best since Shang-Chi.
So it's got some staying power, like Nathan Drake holding on to a ledge while something generic happens around him. Uncharted is now at $83 million domestic, $226 million worldwide. So that, I think we can say this is a big hit. And here's my question. Why?
You know, I just think that people really love that Tom Holland. And it's something that we talk about a lot where it's like, are there stars now that have come out in the last 10 years that can open a movie just purely on their star power? Because there are some, obviously, like, but a lot of the ones that are able to do that have been around for 15, 20 years, maybe not in the last like decade or like, you know, whatever. And so I do really think that this is on the power of the Tom Holland, and also the fact that things are starting to open up, things are starting to feel a little bit more free. People are starting to go to the movies again and feel safer about it. I think especially with the Omarion, Optimus Prime, with that starting to kind of peter out over the holidays, and then people felt confident to go out and see Spider-Man. And so I think that between those things, yeah, like people feel more confident to go to the theaters, take a risk. There are a lot of fans of that franchise, and a lot of, especially the shots in the trailer, were taken almost directly from the video game. And yeah, I do just think, I mean, I don't know if it's Marky Mark. I will say that I did recently go on a New Kids on the Block journey when I was not feeling well during the COVID. But yeah, I really do think that people just like love that Tom Holland. And I think he's riding that wave from No Way Home.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he's right. They love No Way Home because I don't think that this effect, the Tom Holland Halo effect, has happened for his previous non-Spider-Man movies. Like, I don't think Chaos Walking was a big hit. I mean, Doolittle, I think did about as well, but Doolittle was pre-pandemic, and that's Tom Holland and Iron Man.
So Tom Holland wasn't Doolittle, was he?
Yeah, he had a voice.
Oh,
he was the gorilla. No, here's the thing about Doolittle. Everyone was in that movie. That movie was stacked with people.
It was an Avengers cast,
stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it was stacked, and we were all like, "I'm good."
And Cherry, was that just streaming?
It had a small release pre-streaming.
Yeah. So I think it's, yes, Tom Holland is, I guess, gets butts in seats, but I think it's the right kind of Tom Holland, which is like action adventure, family friendly, right?
I think
is that your theory, Eric?
Yeah, I think it was the right combo, because I think if Cherry or Chaos Walking open in the same slot, maybe they do better than they did when they came out, but I don't think they would have made as much as Uncharted. It was like a familiar title that people wanted to see for a while as a movie. Trailers look fun enough. And yeah, look, Sony, I joked on Twitter about Sony put out a poster for that movie that was so mimicking the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. Like, just if you looked at like graphically, it's like, hey, you've been enjoying Tom Holland all these weeks in one movie we put out. Here's another one for you. And it's also fun. So I do think it was like all those things coalesce. A lot of people brought up a funny comparison, but which is the 1998 Man in the Iron Mask with DiCaprio, which opened in the middle of Titanic. It was the same time of year. Titanic had been #1 since Christmas and did very well, which again seemed to benefit. It was like a similar thing. It's like, this guy has been the #1 movie for 3 months now, and here's this other period piece, well made, if not anything that memorable, and it did really well. So it just seems like, if you can kind of get that secret sauce there, because we've seen like Hemsworth hasn't really opened movies away from Thor. It's like, it doesn't necessarily.
This is Black Hat erasure. How dare you?
Black Hat erasure. But I do think it's the right combo, right? Something that evokes it enough, and this was the right thing, you know?
Also, I'm not gonna lie. Every time Tom Holland comes up and starts trending, that umbrella video starts trending, and we all watch it. I'm sorry, like, every time it happens, we all watch it. You can't not watch that video when it's on your timeline. I dare you. Oh gosh, that should be the next, we all have that last Christmas thing around Christmas. That should be the next challenge. If you can get away with not seeing the umbrella video, I will not be participating because I will watch it every time it's on.
There you go. I'm going to watch it right now while you guys talk about a show I have not seen, but I hear is good. Justified. it's coming back. I've seen Timothy Olyphant play a marshal in Star Wars. I've seen him do it there, but I have never seen him do it in a hat. So I guess
that is Deadwood erasure, my friend.
I also haven't seen Deadwood. I'm not a big Westerns guy.
No.
You're missing a lot of Oliphant's career then.
Oh,
yeah, clearly.
I'm not even kidding. I mean, other than Scream 2, I'm not even kidding. You would really like Deadwood.
You would. It's
not like a Western. It's different.
Yeah.
It's set in the West.
I get it. It's good. I'm gonna watch it, but not before we talk about this news story, which is that he's coming back, and who else is coming back behind the camera? Quentin Tarantino. He is doing some TV. What is this a big deal? I mean, it's cool to see him do anything. But Eric, what do you think? Is this exciting as a Justified fan?
It is actually, so yeah, Tarantino directed an episode of ER back in 95.
I was going to say that. Thank you.
Yeah. And then he directed a CSI in 2005.
Yep.
Maybe I'm getting 98 and 95, but it's been since 2005 that he directed that CSI. So it's been a minute. But him doing Justified actually is really cool because another show I think you'd really like, Spencer. Justified is based on Elmore Leonard books, and if you don't know Elmore Leonard's name, it's like Out of Sight and Get Shorty and Jackie Brown, other adaptations of his stuff, which are all great. And Tarantino loves Elmore Leonard. Jackie Brown is the only movie he ever made that was adapted from someone else's work. So it's like, and the thing about Justified is it feels so Elmore Leonard. It's like that great mixture of like the funny barbs with the violence and which is so Tarantino anyway. So I can see why this is extremely appealing for him. Clearly, I mean, I guess him and Oliphant got along making Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but it makes a lot of sense. Like him doing Justified just because he's already directed Elmore Leonard and is such a good fit for that guy anyway. So I actually think this sounds really cool to get him doing this.
Super psyched. Honestly, like legitimately really psyched for this. Again, like I like Timothy Olyphant. I like the show. Yeah, like I'm really psyched for this. I cannot wait. And I do think, as much as I have mixed feelings about Tarantino, which we've talked about, I agree with Eric. This is such a great match. This is like peanut butter and jelly. This is perfect for me. Yeah.
Nice. Well, good. Maybe
let me circle back to Michael Keaton for a second and just mention Michael Keaton was in Jackie Brown, and it was a cool, weird little expanded universe thing because he was playing Ray Nicolette, the same character, Elmore Leonard character. He also played in Out of Sight, even though it was two different studios.
Whoa.
So I say, bring him back here, man.
Oh man, that's great.
Yeah. It was such an awesome. I love Jackie Brown. It was such an awesome surprise for him, and I love Out of Sight for him to like show up in that. Oh. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know. So many connected universes that was
Michael Keaton's just popping into.
He's in everything. Yeah. There's like a multiverse worth of Keatons. I'm cool with this as long as this doesn't count against Tarantino's 10 films and done vow, which he's got one left after this.
Yeah.
Although I do think that if you combine Kill Bill, because that's just one movie, 1 and 2. Yeah. You can squeak another one out there. And then Jackie Brown, like you said, that's an adaptation. So I think he's got at least 3 more, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
But he'll do, I mean, even if he does one more theatrical movie, it's like, then he'll do his streaming.
That doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yo, they're going to pay him so much money.
Oh, man.
I can't even imagine how many of the millions. Like, it's going to be, oh gosh.
That's
when
a lot of foot picks.
How much they paid Lord and Miller. Oh, dude. So much money.
All right. Well, let's move on because I just want to talk about, or I want to find out about this. And if we have time, some fan questions, but please keep them on this topic and this topic alone. Eric, you've returned from a galaxy far, far away, known as Central Florida. Your mission was to board the Galactic Starcruiser Disney experience. The question that you put for yourself in the chat is, was this Star Wars hotel thing worth $5,000?
So yeah, $5,000 is because you have to get 2 nights. Like, I mean, it's like, that's all the only option is these 2 nights, and $5,000 for 2 people. It's $4,800 to be precise, is the starter. So if you're by yourself,
back up for a second, Eric.
Yeah.
What is this?
What is this? How do I explain this? It's a hotel, but it's more. Imagine you are paying for 45 hours as the complete experience, which I didn't do, by the way. I have to stress, I did a press event where we spent several hours there checking it all out. Oh, look, we went to hyperspace. Checking it all out and doing a lot of the story. But you stay there for 45 hours, 2 nights. And during that time, you are basically, everyone there is got to be an improv actor. Everyone's LARPing. You're encouraged to wear a costume. You don't have to. But the entire time, everyone you encounter is going to act like you were in space and that this is real and Star Wars is real and that stuff is happening and that you've been boarded by the First Order and that there's a spy from the Resistance. And are you going to help the spy or are you going to turn them into the First Order? Everyone you talk to is going to be in on this like crazy 2-day, we are all acting like Star Wars is real thing. And there's lightsaber training and there's training on the bridge and there's just a lot of stuff you're doing. And then there's like a story thread through the whole thing that builds and builds. That's what we got the overview of, is like, here's the major story and how it intersects with your time on the ship is what's going on here.
I saw a video of a mom who took her kid. First of all, it's a big thing that they want you to do in costume because Disney is Disneyland, Disney World. They do not want adults to show up in costume because they don't want kids to confuse them for cast members. So the fact that they encourage people to be
no, Timmy, that's just a weird old man in a bathrobe.
Right.
Back away from Peter Pan. Back away from Peter Pan. He's not wearing underwear. Back away from Peter Pan.
Oh, no.
But yeah, so it's like, so that's a huge thing. And I saw, it's a really adorable TikTok.
Oh no, it's Kylo Ren.
It is Kylo Ren.
Non-union equivalent.
And it's so cute, this like little baby, and this little baby, they show like everything and how they were paying attention to him. And I was like, oh man, I can't wait for grown-ass adults to complain that's like, oh, I paid all this money and all they did was pay attention to the children. And by grown-ass adults, I mean me. I'm grown-ass adults because it's expensive. So I do kind of, it's one of the, which of course, like those things are for the children. I'm just being like a weirdo. There is part of me that was kind of like, kind of wish there were 2 different experiences where you can get like the one for families and then you can get like if you're on your honeymoon or if it's like a special occasion.
Speaking of which, the honeymoon thing, I did read that it's now canon that Han and Leia spent their honeymoon there.
They did. And there's
do they pipe in the sounds of their lovemaking from the room next to you?
Yeah, it turns
I know.
It turns out the captain was a real creeper and recorded and play that. That did not get brought up, but I'd love it to be a discovery. Look, they really stress that everyone has their own story path and different things can happen for different people.
Stop looking at us, Chewie.
So maybe you get shown the secret tape.
Turn around.
Oh my God, it's like when your pet enters the room.
Yeah.
And just like Chewie just comes and lays on their legs. It's like, Chewie.
Oh my.
Like,
you're ruining the vibe.
I will say, Danielle, though, like they do, like the adults get plenty of attention too, mostly because they're the ones that have to be kind of recruited for like, hey, like here's what happened to me. The second I was walking around and checking out the ship, and a guy said to me, "Oh, what are you looking to get out of this journey on the Halcyon?" And I said, "Oh, just a fun vacation." I said, "Maybe a little adventure." He goes, "Adventure? Come over here." And he's like, "I need you to steal this and this and this for me," and was like suddenly assigning me a mission and to send me off on my merry way.
That's cute. That sounds fun. I mean, I don't know about $5,000 worth of fun, but that sounds fun.
I don't know. I like RPGs. It would have to be a really special occasion. Like it would, like this isn't something that you would just like go off on a weekend to do unless you just had like, if you were making that kind of money, in which case, honestly, if you were making that kind of money, they're probably going to do like a VIP experience for you. Because that's a lot. Or, again, like a honeymoon or something where it's like, we're going to spend a bunch of money to do something really special and create really special memories. But, as someone who RPGs and sometimes does it for money, I'm super into it. It's the nerdiest, most expensive thing. Yeah. No one there is cool. No, you can't pretend to be cool. If you pay that much money to go LARP, you are a loser. I am a loser. So I'm into it.
Yeah, well, I think it's cool, but I would hope that you're getting, in addition to like the LARPing, like a nice hotel and like nice food and stuff like that? Like,
Food's
yeah.
very good.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a small room, but it's all like, again, everything's meant to look like it's, on a spaceship. And they go for it with every single component. I will say, in the description, you'll find a link to my article about it. But I said, like, is it worth it? I said, you have to answer yes to 3 questions, which is, A, do you have the money, or can you save the money and feel like it's reasonable to save it? And B, are you a huge Star Wars fan? Obviously, that's a big question that you'd have to answer yes or no to. There's plenty of big Star Wars fans. But the other is, can you go all in on the LARPing improv acting of it? Because if you were like, I'm just going to sit back and watch, they're not going to force you to participate, but I think that would be a waste of money. Like, if you didn't do the stuff and you weren't in, like you said, Danielle, if you weren't all in on being a huge dork for those 2 days, then you'd be wasting your money. You got to be like, I am committed to, for all of us pretending like a mass hallucination that we're in space right now.
Yo, if you feel like going to Tony and Tina's wedding would be a thing that you would be into, that is a Broadway reference that no one will get, but literally us 3. But if you feel like you could go, or if you feel like you could go to a murder mystery dinner party,
yes,
then this is for you. If you do not feel like you could go to a murder mystery dinner party,
right?
No.
I put that in my article. That's exactly right.
I'm just gonna pretend I'm a spice runner and just be incredibly zooted the whole time. Keep offering
well, Ryan asked in the chat, like, could you smoke there? And I assume he meant cigarettes, but my response was bring edibles.
Yeah.
Because if I justify it in character, would they let me smoke there, or there's just regular state law to still come into play?
Imagine a full portion of space brownie.
Because every single thing is Star Warsified. It would be funny if they sold cigarettes, but they were like death stick wrapping,
like that pipe Jabba had. Like I
Jabba's
like a long Jabba pipe.
That'd be fun. Do they make you? Do they make the cleaning people dress like droids?
Oh no,
they do not. But I'll say I want to talk about the performers for a second to say, because every single person from the bartenders to the bellhops is in on the we're in space of it all. But then there's the people that are like the main characters, like the captain and the woman, the Twi'lek singing on the ship, and the first order lieutenant that you're going to encounter a lot and talk to. They're all doing great, and I also feel so much sympathy for when they're going to encounter the inevitable a-holes. Because guess what happens when you go to a theme park? You're going to hear some dad screaming and yelling and being an a-hole. And think about having to stay in character. While you're
I mean, that's when the real stormtroopers come out. That's when the Disney security it makes an amphibious assault on your bathtub or whatever. They have people watching, I'm sure, to remove any rebels from the rebellion.
I do hope some stormtroopers run out and grab those guys.
There's going to be so much. I spent $5,000 for this. Like, I should get.
I should be able to do whatever I want, wherever I want.
I should be able to teabag someone. Like, that's what, sorry.
That's not part of it. I can tell you. I see Jim's question here, though, Ryan threw in. Was it only based on sequel trilogy, or is it elements of the original trilogy prequels too? Because everything has to be like canon and explained. It is firmly set in between episode 8 and 9. But guess what? There might be a certain familiar Wookiee who might be around in that time, and maybe he might show up at a certain point.
In the room next to you.
Maybe, yes.
Or in the hallway because Han and Leia kicked him out.
Maybe there's some droids you might talk to at a certain point that you are very familiar with from multiple films in the franchise. So
nice.
They work it in as much as they can.
All right. Well, I could keep going about this. So many good fan questions. I think we should probably save them for Wednesday because I don't want to overstay our welcome, much like us in Central Florida. We're going to take off. We're going to blast into another dimension right now. But thank you, Eric, for that report from a galaxy far, far away.
Yep, and we'll be back for SJU Wednesday until, at least for now, until Moon Knight or another big Wednesday show is coming up. And also check out reviews. The Batman reviews up right now.
Maybe we'll do an all fan one on Wednesday because Lord knows there's not much news. Although the Batman will have come out and maybe we'll have seen it. Who's to say? I know you have, Eric. Check out that video. But for now, we're done. We'll see you guys in some form or another later this week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.